Morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. Magic's lagging severely, so
Yeah,
he's back.
yeah. Fighting the old internet problem out here in the middle of nowhere again. So I obviously did not get that taken care of. I'm gonna have to write that one down. I've been very busy cleaning out the garage and making room so that I can actually have a gym out there instead of trying to do a gym behind my desk setup here. So that's been kind of my weekend project. But yeah, let's talk about the charts and the market, unless of course Max has something he wants to say.
Oh, he's back with the manners on Monday. No, all good, mate. Crack on.
All right, there we go. Okay, guys, simple. We have front run a major level. We have our major averages down here in the previous month low. So this little box here still remains kind of the key levels for me. You do have this untapped monthly pivot from February down here. If we start breaking down below about 21,800 at any time, while this is all bounce territory, my real main interest is going to be if we can swing fail the previous month low into the February untapped pivot, right? Should go without saying, just like on the way down where we were saying, if we reach this area again and we lose the monthly open, what did I say? We're not going to be presetting here, as I don't think that would be wise given the structure of this. It would look like it wants to come down to this box. It has front run the box a little bit. So trading is not about perfection. I did take a scalp long here. I'm actually already out of it as our old 6M1 at 22,407. It's been such a key level, right? You can see that here. Very, very well respected, chopping around. For me, though, as I told the group last night, so anyone that was in there, I'm looking for a move up still. Not necessarily anything drastic. I just want to see a back test of some support, hit some statistical targets, such as the weekly pivots coming in here at where the old, it's technically not the previous week low anymore, but it was last week's previous week low at 22,719 and 22,810.50 marked off here on the September high. When can we actually start thinking that this rally has some serious legs? You've got to be living above the monthly open. I do still think that that's going to be the key level. If you live above the monthly open and things are starting to turn green, you're also above your most local gold pocket. You'd be above the monthly pivot right here at 23,285. You probably can't see it very well, but it is in there. This little box right here gets claimed, you're probably going to push into that 24K resistance again. And then at that point, I'm looking to probably try to find the higher low and see if we can't try to make a new high even. That's well and far away though. For me, my bias until there's a sign of strength is that we're going to go fulfill some of these targets. And so I'm being patient. As I told him last night, I'm really not doing any day trading today. I've got quite a bit on my plate in terms of moving things around, but that shouldn't last more than a day. I've got my bias for this zone here, specifically the previous month low, right? And I've got my bias for these two boxes. These are the only areas I'm interested in reactions out of. Otherwise, I probably won't take too many trades. There are some single prints that come in through here. I'll let Max go through all that, as that's kind of his thing on the order flow. But yeah, short and sweet on Bitcoin. What I do want to jump onto here is we've spoken about this at length, that at some point you will come back and test this sign line. So a rally is not out of the question at all. And things really do start to look different if you get back above what? This is your macro gold, well, not macro, your overall gold pocket from the most recent high at 25.3 down to the most local low here, which technically still is a higher low in place, right? If you start breaking above 24K, you'd be breaking that, gold pocket. You'd be breaking that most recent resistance as well on this downtrend or local downtrend. And you'd be back out of the merged range here. So, and if I recall, that was also the previous week point of control at the time. So 24K was quite important last week. And you'd have a change of behavior here on the daily. You can see at $23,688 right here, this little box. We've not closed the daily above this since the 26th of February. We're now on the 6th of March. So, well, technically we haven't closed the daily above it since the 23rd of February, but right here is where that resistance really began setting in. So you'd have a couple different things to suggest that an attempt back into this, zone, a foray into the highs again could be on the table. That's getting ahead of ourselves, but it's always good to kind of, map things out in our mind, put it in our journals specifically. And then as things start playing out, we can check things off the list and say, okay, this is a good trade, et cetera, et cetera. However, for me, still looking to see if maybe I get a secondary opportunity into these areas that we've been discussing. Take this local low here. If there's no trade there, I do expect this to come down and probably fill that 20K gap, but I'm looking more towards like the 19.3 down to like 18.9 section of the chart at that time. And then, we play the game again. But as of right now, you are holding your higher lows, right? Low, low, low. But we were looking for a top in this window. You can see this is the window here. We did get the top. So now the question is, what wins out, time or price? So we'll see how bullish this market truly is. If we do break above this and hold this as support, this 25K zone, not like a one last deviation and then up and then down, right? We don't do something like that. As long as we're up and living above this zone, then we can start having those 2019-esque discussions, right? Where we say, man, how long should I be holding this long from 16.6? Because I'm still in that position. I just, you can't manage it every day. Price action is not always that relevant. Do we get something like this? And I think that once you do that, break above 25K and put pressure onto your new yearly pivot right here and break above it, much like you did back here at 80, I think it was 8,900, somewhere right in here, 7,700, 8,000. It was this level that you broke into, chopped around, and then came up to make that new high. That could be a reality, but we'll see that coming. We'll know it's coming if we can break back through this time and price line, essentially. And the very first resistance is that monthly open. Then 24K essentially is kind of the next area. But wanted to look at SPX. So we talked about the SPX last week. For anyone that's into, I said the old stock dogs were going to have their day with this one, because you had the trend line back test, and it was also your local gold pocket, right? Just your high to low on your most recent low. And you can see that this is technically still an uptrend, right? See how we have the higher low fashion. However, we now need to make a new high. And if we do, we're looking upwards into this gold pocket up here. If you guys recall, where is that? Man, there we go. Gold pocket right around 4,300 up to as high as 4,412. And I would be looking for a severe retracement after that, to be honest with you guys. That's been the target. And that is technically the secondary target right now for this, the old fun pattern, right here. We've hit target one, the B leg, hit it very nicely. Now you're looking for the overall gold pocket high to low. That's right here. So getting a really nice back test into the local gold pocket, into this trend line. So lots of people probably getting in on that action, but a really simple setup, and it's panned out extremely well. And if you were watching this based on ranges, all you're doing is targeting some, one, you've got your yearly pivot right here, and then you're looking up to like the point of control. And that's how I would be viewing that. I do want to check on the old DXY before I turn it over to Max. We'll get everything out of the way here today. Yeah, look at that. Came up above the previous day high. We talked about this the day this was happening. We said we have to have our previous day high marked here because we've swept it, and we may come back up and sweep it again. But however, we continue to close below it. And then give up key support into support. And we have this local golden pocket that we've identified down here. What's this allowing Bitcoin to do in the meantime is rally. So you are seeing these things work in concert with each other, where the DXY is coming back into local support, which is also our monthly pivot right here. So statistical target for the local price action, gold pocket, right? And this is that blue zone, which is like the 2016 and 17 highs that have really dictated quite a bit of price action, right? So, and I'll pull that up real quick here, and we'll be done with this and let Max have that, have the screen, have the comm, so to speak. But you can see that this is the inflection zone that you want to be paying attention to. You can see I have my alerts already set there. Boom, boom, right? So this is why we're expecting it to back test this. Even in times where it made a lower high and then dumped, this zone provided a very, very nice area to work off of right here, all the way back in time, right? So the levels are the levels. But that's all I've got. It looks like Bitcoin wants a little bit of upside here, which, like I said last night, it's kind of what I was expecting, especially with the DXY looking like this. Stock market getting this nice bounce. I mean, that's a very clean bounce. So we'll see how far this can go, you know. Let me make sure there are no... ZZ Poppy says bear flag. I don't even know what that is, man. Never seen one. 23.2K then. Yeah, 23.2K is definitely worth having on your chart. And looks like we have some fundamental conversation going on as well. That's always enjoyable. I like seeing you guys converse in the chat. So I'm going to turn it over to Max and let him do his thing.
Okay, so, you know, looking at what we've got here, we've clearly got a huge single print to the upside. We've tested it a couple of times, but every time we've failed to hold effectively the bottom of the single print. So the bottom of the single print has been, you know, resistance for us effectively. I'm kind of giving myself a, you know, what's that, $20 movement, you know, $20 box. And every time we've come above it, we've really struggled to, you know, so it's, let's just say it's 22,500. You know, it's been the resistance since, you know, we've had this big drop on Thursday, Friday. It was the Passover point for me. So, you know, back then, it really has been the resistance. You know, you broke above it here, and you know, if I go to a low-term time frame, every time we failed to get above and back test it. So, you know, even when we came here, we tried, but then we went straight into a lower high. I imagine looking at that from, you know, sorry, I realized I'm very zoomed out. You know, made a lower high immediately after and, you know, really failed to hold it. So you didn't really test it there. But so with this current break that we've got, I'm really looking to see if we get a solid back test. You could argue it occurred on the 1 minute. If we go to the 1 minute, you could argue that it's already occurred. But what you don't want to see now is, you know, this high, you know, a lower high be made. Because if a lower high gets made and you break back down below this level, for me, that's going to be a short trade to then run, you know, this little awful range that we've had over the weekend. You know, it really has been quite piss poor. But if it can hold that level, always back.
You're hitting your previous week regression trend right now at the high, like to the T.
Yeah. So if it doesn't hold that level on the chart for me, I am going to be looking to take a short on that, because I think, you know, it's got a very good chance to cycle the weekend range. However, if it does hold that level, you've got a huge single print above you, and there's not really that much resistance there. The only resistance that I really am looking to is, I need to go back to the hourly, is this gold pocket from here. So pulled from the, you know, last high effectively down to here. It comes in an important area, because if I pop on this is, and zoom out so it can come in, you know, you've got a big box of resistance here. It's the previous month value area low. It's the gold pocket. So this is kind of the area that I'm kind of looking for to get rejection in. You know, it's the lows of this little range. You've got clearly some support here. So the fact that there's, you know, a number of things there, it's kind of the region that I'm looking at if we do push up higher. But then obviously if you break above that, I think you've got the monthly open just a touch above that. So, you know, you could extend your box how far you want. But yeah, that's kind of the region that I'm looking at. But really, there's not too much to go off in the footprint chart, but other than, and the order flow, other than the TPO, because volume has been absolutely abysmal. The one thing that I will say, and this is why this never normally works out well for me, so, you know, keep that in mind, is I'm actually opposed to what Magic says when he wants that push up higher. You know, if we're going to go much higher, there's really not been that many shorts that have been built up over here. The only thing that I would counter that, given today's price action, is the bullish divergence that we've had forming all day. So, you know, that is a bullish sign. However, what I was looking at over the weekend, and, you know, the volume was wank, it was really bad, is the fact that, you know, this move here took out a load of shorts, as does the move that we've just had, you know, a couple of seconds ago, you know, taking out many shorts. You're not going to have a quick, fast fuel to take you to the upside. It's going to be a slow burn, I would believe. if we are to get that move up, as positions need to build up. But yeah, I just don't think, given what we've got the legs to really go that much higher. And the buying right now, as we get above that 22,500 region, it's not really there. The volume's kind of dying off, as we can see. But you can see you had buying here, not too much in these candles. So then you had the short squeeze, taking out any more shorts that may have been in this region, and the buying is kind of dried up a little bit. And you can actually see you could argue you're getting some very minor positions changing hands, which I don't know. I'm not 100% convinced we're going to get a move up, but I don't like countering magic, but I can only go off what we've seen. But other than the bullish divergence, I've not really got too many bullish signs, given what we've seen over the weekend. But always could be wrong. The fact we did have the big drop on Thursday, Friday, by all means we could come up and clean up some of those single prints, some of those inefficiencies on the charts. But I just don't think it's going to push too much higher, personally. But yeah, I really don't have anything else to talk about. Single prints are important. You've got levels below you. The naked point of controls are very important, and also these lows. Naked previous month pivot, which I always quite like to look at. But yeah, other than that, it's not really too much to go off, and the volume's really dead. It does make reading order flow somewhat harder, specifically in Bitcoin, because normally you have such huge volume. When it dries up as it has today, yesterday, and Saturday, it's really it just makes it a little bit more difficult. So it is what it is. But yeah, I'm done now, Magic.
Oh, all good. I'm actually listening to you here because my internet's so poor I can't actually hear what you're saying, really. But in terms of a move up, yeah, I'm not looking for anything crazy either. I'm looking just for a back test of resistance potentially. I'm not looking for this to break up necessarily. Still waiting for these lows at some point. So I'm just trying to remain patient and just take a good trade when it's there. And a good trade's not going to present itself unless we're at the high of the range or the low of the range is how I look at it. So it is what it is.
Are we done?
I think so. It's going to be a quick one today because my internet's jacked up. I don't think we have too much to talk about. A lot of the coins are we talked about this. Like I'm looking at Matic, LRC. They're all coming close to their targets. They're not quite there yet. So for me, I'm just keeping an eye on those. I have my alerts set, and when they hit, we take the trades. If you're in the group, you know what those are. If you've been watching the show, you guys know what those are as well. So I'm not going to roll through them. But yeah, I got nothing else, man. If you want to hop off, we can. We'll keep it a short one this morning for the peoples.
Sure. It's been a quiet weekend, so quiet stream.
Awesome, guys. Well, if you guys are watching, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe, all that jazz. If there's something you want to see us look at next time, leave a comment on the video down below, and we'll catch you in the next one.